my name is Vishnu. I'm a first year undergrad student here at UC Berkeley. I'm joined by...
Hi everyone, my name is Arav. I'm also a first year undergrad student. I'm studying economics and I'm Haas. Very excited to have Unmukt here.
On behalf of Speaker Series India at Berkeley, the Cal Cricket Club and the UC Berkeley Institute of South Asia Studies, I'd like to welcome all of you to Dugout Conversations with Unmukt Chand. It's going to be a super fun event. Hopefully it'll be informal, a lot of stories, a lot of banter. This is what we're looking forward to. If you're not familiar with Speaker Series India at Berkeley, we are an organization that strives to promote discussion about issues pertaining to India as well as South Asia at large. So we bring in people from the world of politics, business, entertainment, and now for the first time, our first sports person, Mr. Unmukt Chand. I won't call you Mr. Unmukt Chand. Just to give a small introduction about Unmukt, he played for Delhi, made his debut for the Delhi Ranji Trophy cricket team in 2011. The most memorable Under-19 World Cup victory, 2012. Ever since, he's been playing top-notch leagues all around the world. And the most entertaining, the most exciting part is now he's shifted his base to the United States and is going to be playing minor league cricket and soon major league cricket. And in the year 2024, he's going to be playing the ICC T20 World Cup right here in the US, which is something we're all looking forward to. So let's get started, guys. Please, the warmest Berkeley welcome possible for Unmukt Chand. So Unmukt, how are you doing?
All good here. Thank you so much for having me here. It's a privilege to come to Berkeley. And who could have imagined a cricketer coming in USA and sort of speaking about cricket and the growth of cricket, which is gonna be a part in the next few years in terms of US cricket is concerned. So yeah, it's a great start, and really looking forward to it.
It's so cool. We asked you this before, but have you come to Berkeley before?
And that's my first time. From my house, I can see Berkeley. But yeah, first time here, so really looking forward to having a tour of this campus as well. I've heard great things about Berkeley. As a kid, obviously there are certain colleges in your minds which you want to go to, and obviously Berkeley was one of them. So I think it's great that you guys are studying here and make the most of it. Do well in your careers and at the same time have fun.
That is always great advice. One thing which I really wanted to ask you was, there are a lot of freshmen here, first year students who have come from India and different parts of the world just last year, August 2021. And that incidentally is the same time when you announced that you're going to be shifting to the US. So I wanted to ask you, how was the process of acclimatizing to the US like? How has US been like for you so far in these 7 or 8 months?
Well, I came to US on April 26th last year. I decided to sign the contract in August. So, I mean, to be very honest, US has been very, very warm to me. Couldn't have asked for more in terms of the way, when I came here, I had no idea about the cricket being played in the US. I had been offered by them to come to US 2 years back. I declined my offer, but then last year I finally decided to come and see how things are. I went around the country. I played in New Jersey, LA, Bay Area, Seattle, Houston, a couple of places. And finally, after sort of touring around, seeing the whole ecosystem of cricket developing here, that was when I decided that this is it, and I'll stay here. And since then, there has been no looking back in a lot of ways. Then we had a minor league tournament last year, which I was playing for Strikers, Silicon Valley Strikers. We won the tournament.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, I got the best batsman award as well, and then so many things happened. Yeah, I mean the last 1 year has been very, very instrumental in my life. I got married to my wife, who's here as well. So yeah, so many things happened. So yeah, it has been good.
This is really interesting. So I was talking to Unmukt earlier as well, and shifting to the US is not the only commonality between us. We went to the same high school in Delhi. So Unmukt, how is modern school Barakamba Road? We want to know how you were as a student. Like, I bunked a lot of classes in school. Were you like that?
So basically, I was in DPS Noida. So DPS and modern are like rivals,
Yeah.
you know. But so till 8th, and then 9th I decided to go to modern school. So there were a few options. It could be DPS Arkipuram, modern school Baragamma Road, Sudapatil, DPS Batra Road, and then finally I decided to go to modern school because of cricket, of course. Because till DPS Noida I did not have a lot of cricket in my school, and then I decided that if I had to sort of become, take it to the next level, I have to go to an institute where I have more better competition. There were many players who were already playing for state in modern school that time, and it was known for its sports and co-curricular activities as well. So that's when I decided to move my base to modern school. I had not played any state level cricket till then. So I got admitted into modern school on the basis of my academics. I was always a 90% till then, till 9. And also I was a national level swimmer.
Okay.
So on that basis I got, I passed my written exam, and then I had an interview. That time our principal was Mrs. Lata Vaidyanathan. So she loved me a lot, and so that's when I started the modern school journey. But in a way, modern was a big life changer for me because again that school is a lot different in a lot of ways, because the amount of confidence I sort of got in that school because of other things which you do. Obviously, it was a different environment. I felt like I was in college already. Modern school was a different game altogether. I mean, people hardly follow the rules, to be very honest. There, it's now very strict now, but back then it was still a lot easier. Like bunking one, I was in humanities, right? So at humanities there were 60 people in my class. There was only one section of humanities, and then honestly I never saw more than 10 people at a single time. And during exams I was like, man, 60 people? I never saw them in any of these classes, and here they are. So that was quite a bit of a surprise. I was not used to that sort of a mindset, but then I slowly, got a hang of it, and everything changed. Everything changed in a way because modern was very different. In DPS, we used to, after school, after exams, we used to go for a movie. In modern, we used to hang out in, Taj Mashan, having lunch, dinner at Taj, and partying somewhere in some club. So it was a very different atmosphere. But at the same time, the amount of cricket which I learned there, and also I became even more serious because I understood that this is not my type of things. I sort of could figure out that, categorize my ambitions, my goals, and clearly I knew that there's a certain pathway I can't take, but there are very good things attached to it because you have some brilliant minds in the college school, great teachers, and so much to learn, so many activities to get engaged in. So I totally put myself into that, and I started playing tournaments all across. We had this IPSC tournaments, so I did really well in those tournaments. So that really opened up my horizon in a lot of ways. I played state cricket after that, and the school really supported me in my endeavors because I was missing out on my exams and a lot of things, but they really helped me out in that. And then it just sort of took on, man. After that, ninth, I played the one days for Delhi, and then 10th, when I was in 10th, I was playing Ranji Trophy. When I was in 12th, I got picked for the IPL. So literally it happened so quickly for me.
Wow.
So 4th of April was my last board exam, and 10th April was my first IPL game. So all the school was there.
Wow, that's so cool.
So
Did it happen in Kotla? The
Yes,
first match?
yes.
Oh, that's so
First
cool.
match was Mumbai Indians in Delhi. That's another story I
Both of your
sort of
teams.
share. Yeah, but yeah, it was very interesting because things happened so quickly for me. But then you had to categorize that what do you need to take. There are, and that's what happens in life as well, right? You have so many options, but then you got to understand that what is your priority and focus on that and move ahead.
Yeah, I think Arav, I think you shouldn't have bunked classes in DPs. Yeah, go on.
I wish I could say that I was my principal's favorite, to be honest. So I'm very curious about your early life, and you said that you hadn't played for Delhi before coming to modern. So I want to know what got you into cricket. When was the first time you started playing recreationally? Essentially, when was the first time you broke a window?
Well, cricket came very naturally to me. So when I was 4-5 years old, that's when I started playing cricket, like any other Indian kid. And my parents, we had a joint family back then. So my father, my uncles, they were very, very keen, and so we used to practice a lot. in a nearby park. We used to go there, and before school I used to practice with them. And then obviously in my apartment I used to keep playing and breaking windows and all those things. So then when I was 7, 8 years old, that's when some people recommended them that you should rather take a different route and stop playing here and go to an academy and start doing that. So that's when it all started. I was 8 or 9 years old when I formally joined an academy, and then after that it started carrying on, and then I joined my school team as well, school cricket team. But then I always knew it. It just came so naturally to me that I did not have to even I sort of started swimming because my parents felt that swimming will give me that stamina which is required in sport. Eventually I went to do the nationals, but it all happened as a result of me just following the processes. But yeah, those things really helped me a lot. So early morning 6 to 8 we used to have our advanced swimming sessions in school. After that school, and then we used to come back, go for practice. We used to go to National Stadium that time in India Gate, next to India Gate. Major Dhyan Chand Stadium, and then come back home, study for an hour, sleep. So that was how life was till school.
So you did professional swimming and professional cricket together, like?
Yeah, so I was part of a school team, school swimming team, and then again cricket was also there. So because I was playing cricket in the evenings in my academy, so I was good in cricket as well, swimming also. So, but swimming obviously I never took it very seriously because it was only for my stamina and strength. So that's why I was doing it. Just like it's good to engage in different sports. It sort of helps you as well.
Yeah. We also want to know, so like you were playing in an academy, right? So after that, how is the transition to under-19 cricket? Like you said that, your board exam was right before your IPL game and all of that. But how is the transition from an under-19, like from a school cricket team to an under-19 player?
So what happens is in India we have the under-15 state, under-17 state, under-19 state. So first year when I played the under-15 state, I scored a lot of runs in the trial matches. I did not get picked. So that was the first big blow in my as a 15-year-old, you're scoring the maximum runs and you're not getting picked because of so much politics happening and all, which is very common in Delhi cricket. So that happened. That's what my parents were very. They didn't know how to share it with me that I was not picked. But I used to read a lot of books, and I knew that there were certain roadblocks which you have to sort of see in your journey, and then if you pass them and you keep doing your things, you will automatically succeed. So that was the mindset. So in a way, I didn't know, but I was gifted with that mindset. So I never had to try too hard to do that, but it just came naturally to me. So that year I really worked out a lot. I really spent a lot of hours in the nets, and then next year when I got picked. I played one game. I got out on 4 runs, and that was like, boss. When you get out, you go back to the dressing room, right? It's like the biggest walk backwards. So you're just thinking, as if you close your eyes, is it a dream or is it reality? And then when you know that fine, you've messed it up, you just go back, and then you know that you have to work the entire year to sort of come back. So next year when I came back with the under 16, I scored well in the first game, and then we were in the quarterfinals, so I got 50s in the quarter semis finals. And that's when I got picked for the North Zone team. We had a camp, North Zone, South Zone, like this. It happens. So North Zone, I got picked for the North Zone team. We had an All India tournament. In that I became the best batsman, man of the tournament.
Wow.
That's when things started changing for me. So once I did that, that's when people started knowing my name. We had an India under 16 team. Got runs there. So then I got picked for under 19 Delhi State. First year I got a lot of runs. Straight away I got a call for the Vijay Hazare, which is a one-day tournament, Ranji Trophy.
Yeah.
So it all happened very quickly, and I gave it a lot to my school as well. And obviously I was under Sanjay Bhardwaj sir in LB Shastri Club.
Okay.
Post that, so those things really helped. So a lot of things came in together very nicely. So yeah, all the stars were aligned in a way.
That's so cool. I know everyone, all the cricket fans here are super excited to learn more about 2012, the Under-19 World Cup. So I'm going to get started on that. Pretty sure there was a lot of planning that took place before actually forming the team, and also the fact that you're like 15, 16 teenagers coming for this one cause to win the most important title in junior cricket. how was the process of building that bonhomie and that friendship, the teamwork between all those 15, 16 teenagers coming from different parts of the country? How was that like?
So again, it was very special because looking back, it's easy but when you're going through the process, that's when you got to sort of believe certain things. I always wanted to, because I was 15 when Virat won the 2008 Under-19 World Cup.
Yeah.
So having watched it very closely, that's for any teenager, winning the Under-19 World Cup is the biggest thing.
Mm-hmm.
More important than the Indian team, right? At that moment of time.
Correct.
So, as I was telling you, there's a National Cricket Academy in Bangalore.
Mm-hmm.
So the top 30 players get selected every year, depending on the performances. So first year I got picked in that, and second year I got picked in that.
Was this for junior cricket?
For every age group, so under 16,
okay.
under 17, under 19, they have this 30 camp, 30 probables camp. And then when you keep doing it, so you keep sort of, that's when even the chopping also happens. And you got to perform every year because you don't want to miss on that. So when that happened, eventually, because most of the guys were similar, so we got an idea that okay, these guys are going to be there. Around 20-25 people were there, so knew that somewhere 15 out of those guys will be a part of this whole setup. So we knew in a way, but then just 1 year before the World Cup, we started the tournaments. So that was the first time we played. We played a quadrangular series in India. We went to Australia for a quadrangular series before the World Cup. We had a Asia Cup as well before that. So then, there were a few changes inside, but moreover, it was mostly the same guys. But with each tournament, we won all the tournaments. So with each tournament, gave us more confidence, more stability, more understanding of each other. Our coaches were very good. So it became more like a family environment. And then those things really help when you actually go out and play. Nowadays, it's so structured because you start preparing for the last 1 or 2 years.
Yeah.
More tournaments, more bonhomie, camaraderie amongst each other.
Yeah.
So that really helps. And then eventually, when we were going for the World Cup, we were so prepared that we knew it. And that's when I started writing my book as well. So my book also, which I wrote, the idea came to me that time only, that I will start, writing it, not because I knew it's going to be very special. There was so much of belief that we're going to win the World Cup, because otherwise there was no point of a book.
Right.
So I started jotting down my diaries from the last camp onwards onto the World Cup, and when I started writing every day, because it's very different when you think in hindsight and when you're actually going through those things.
Oh, you're live in the moment.
Yes, live in the moment. So you get a lot of insights and very raw emotions.
Mm-hmm.
So I started writing every day, before the game, after the game, knowing that we are gonna win the World Cup.
Wow, that's so much confidence.
So it all happened, and then that's how the book happened. And so yeah, it was a nice journey.
I think now it's been 10 years since about to be 10 years since you guys won the World Cup. We should just give Unmukt a huge round of applause for that World Cup. He was only a teenager our age, and at the age of 19 he was a world champion. I just can't believe that. So tell us, Unmukt, when did they announce that you were going to lead the team for the World Cup, and what were your feelings like when they announced that you were going to be the captain?
So what happened is, in these camps, I was because that time when I was 17, I was already playing Ranji Trophy for Delhi. So in that group only, I was getting a little senior most in terms of my experiences.
Okay.
I had already played 1 season of Ranji Trophy. I did very well for Delhi that year, and Delhi side was packed that time. Myself, Shikhar, Virat, Ashish Nehra, Ishant, packed. Gauti Bhai and Viru Bhai, they were playing for the Indian team, so they were not there. So it was packed Delhi side, and being a part of that team, doing very well there. So that automatically gives you a lot of confidence. It feels like you're playing half India anyways, right? Because of all those guys are there. And then also in your group, you start getting a feeling, right? That, because you're doing so well, so you sort of start getting better than the other boys in a way. So I was leading a lot of tournaments even in NCA. So the feeling had come that I would be the captain only. And I always wanted to be actually. But then when the teams got announced for the first tournament, quadrangular series, I was not with the captain, someone else was with the captain. But then there was
Was that a surprise to you? Or?
It was in a way, not to me only, but to everyone, because we were so used to, because all the matches we played, I was leading, so there was a whole unsaid thing in the group that this is what's going to happen. But then that guy got into some age fudging sort of a thing, and he sort of missed out, and then they made me the captain. We went for the first tournament. We won the first tournament. I did very well in that tournament. Second tournament again, same thing happened. Third tournament, same thing happened. So that last 1 year, we knew that moreover this is gonna be it. So, and I was leading it, we were winning it. So that was the way it was going.
That's so cool. Like my next question would be, a lot of us cricket fans here, we obviously watch cricket on TV, but we have no idea what it's like in the dressing room, the banter you guys have, all the planning that takes place. So if you could give us a sneak peek as to, before a very important match, say a very important match in the Under-19 World Cup, how's the banter like? How's the atmosphere? How much josh is there in the dressing room?
Well, Under-19 was very different because again, no one has seen the those highs and everything, right?
Yeah.
For IPL and all, it's very different because everyone is very professional. But when you're just growing up, when you're in your school days, right, and then such a thing happens, so it's very different. The good thing is we had two players who had already played the previous World Cup. Senior was Harmeet was there. Harmeet is again in US only right now. Sandeep Sharma was there. And I had already played one season of IPL. So I also had a sort of a idea about the magnanimity of tournaments, and pretty used to not getting too hyped up before a big event.
Wow.
So the only thing which we were discussing is, and obviously it's when you're playing a tournament, there's a lot of excitement, but at the same time because it's something you want to achieve, and you don't want to miss on that, so you keep yourself like you're always sort of tight in a way because after the tournament it gets over, then you sort of relax and everything. But because there's a goal in front of you, you don't want to sort of just get away from that goal in any way or do something which sort of takes you away or disappoints other people in the team, right? So that was going on. We were very lucky that we were playing it in Australia. So we didn't know a lot about what was going back home in India because the media was like over the moon. In terms of we got a lot of media attention. There were so many people outside my house before the World Cup. Was when the World Cups were going on. All the channels were there in the place, and it was a maniac sort of a scene.
The atmosphere.
It was a different scene altogether. But then good thing was because we were there, we were very away from it because these things do take your concentration focus away because you want to start focusing on winning, and you forget about the steps, the process, right? So we were just sort of telling each other that we got to just focus on the process, make sure that we just keep doing those things, not get too excited about things. Because that is what happens usually, and that's when most of especially in the under-19 level, that's when people mess up. When you start thinking too much about, okay, fine, what's going to happen once you win the World Cup? IPL is there, options are there, money is there. So many aspects are there which are involved. You're going to become household names and so many things. So that's what you got to focus on, and that's what we were trying to make sure that we stay together, not worry about whatever is happening, and just give our best on the field. Also, it became a very emotional moment because I remember in the hurdle we did before getting in the finals, the only thing which would come to me was, boss, this is the last game we are going to play together as a team. It's a very emotional moment. We have spent last 3 years together, played so many tournaments together, matches together, camps together, and so much of togetherness was there. And this is the last game before we all disperse. We may play against each other.
It's like graduating.
1 or 2 players might play for one team, but then it's all, you just go away, right? That family sort of disperses in different directions. So that was a very emotional moment, and we wanted to actually play for each other. So go in there, just let's play for each other. Just enjoy the whole moment, and this will never come again.
That's super inspirational.
Sort of encourages everyone to sort of be there for each other, and everyone knows their job. It's more of the involvement and the intensity which sort of needs to go up, and when that goes up, your performance also increases, gets better.
When you talked about the hurdle, Shah Rukh Khan's Chak De India speech came into my mind. Last 30 minutes.
So see, it is not that filmy in a way. It's different when you see it in a movie, but it's very real.
Yeah.
Actually, life is very real in a lot of ways. But yeah, in a way, movies are made out of real life conversations only, right? So many similarities, but you got to be real. You got to sort of know what is there. You know, watching in hindsight, you can make it, and everything can become so filmy in a way. But then when you actually start doing those things, it's important to just go step by step.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you, like you were 19 years, you had a lot of media attention. I can't imagine as teenagers you have to handle not only cricket but also so many external factors that come into play. So you have media attention, you have team dynamics, you have endorsements, you have so many other things, and suddenly the focus is not just only cricket. There's so many other things you need to deal with. I was wondering, does that change the way you look at cricket as a game? Cricket, I read your book and you said that you have this pure and innocent love for the game. Or do all these external factors somehow dilute that feeling of love for the game? How do you change the view of your game when all these things come?
Nice question. I think it's a very personalized opinion, view as well. And I also feel that it's got to do a lot with your upbringing, your family roots and everything, right? In a way, because I was always taught certain things in my house, and certain so there are certain traits which are involved with you. I always loved cricket, right? I still do, right? It's a lot of passion. At the end of the day, when you see all those things happening, not happening, you realize that it's the game which sort of fascinates you. I mean, success and failure again. When you don't do well, when you fail, and then you're left out of the team, you're not selected. Next day when you sit back and see your life, I mean, the only thing which you do know is, okay fine, I can just go and play, practice again, get better. So that sort of keeps telling you, reiterating that, boss, this is the love for your game, and whatever comes or goes, and that's going to happen, this game will stay with you. So you should just sort of focus on bettering it, and the more you love it, it will automatically start, giving you those results and everything. These are all part of, growing up in a way, because before that stage comes, it's only you, cricket, and other things. But then, as you grow up, money comes in, all these other things come in. People sort of, join you, you become more social. I mean, your whole sphere increases. But at the same time, it also teaches you that, your circle of, there's a big circle, and there's an even bigger circle. There's a circle of concern, and one is a circle of influence. So you got to make sure that you are in that circle of concern. So even if you sort of go to other things, but you should know how to come back to your things, right? So that coming back is important. And then you can't obviously shy away from the whole world. You got to do things.
Absolutely.
You got to take it on. But at the same time, you need to come back to your roots, what has taken you there, what's going to help you get even further down there. Because these things are going to just go away very soon, the other things. The influence things are going to go away.
Right. Yeah.
So again, the tiny dot, that's where you got to keep revolving your life around, mostly. If you can do that better, everything starts growing in a much better way.
So the idea of the tinier dot with the circle of influence, it's so cool, and I wanted to ask you something about that, but in the context of a very important match you played in the Under-19 World Cup, which is the quarterfinals against Pakistan. Who here remembers the Under-19 World Cup? Thoda, like, that's so cool.
You guys must be like 9, 10?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, 9.
Wow, man, it has been a long time. Wow.
So, for the
I still look under 19, don't I?
Definitely. You look like the youngest man here.
I have a little beard, but.
Influence of having a money.
So I wanted to ask you, the India-Pakistan match, whether it is senior cricket team or whether it's under-19, there's always a lot of hype.
Yeah.
You'll have 10 media channels interviewing you when you're going to the stadium. There's so many external factors. So what was the team environment like right before the India-Pakistan match? Because did you consider the match different from other matches?
See, this is the thing which really happens is, outside there's a lot of speculation,
Right?
lots of things, but inside the dressing room, it is there, especially at a junior level, you get more excited because the only thing is, okay fine, you've got to beat Pakistan. That is so ingrained in you, right? But at the same time, we knew that this could take us away from our process, right? So you again come back to the same thing. Okay, fine. If we can do the processes right, if we can play to our strengths, if we can do the small things well, we'll be the best in this place right now. And then obviously one days is there. Test cricket is still some time away because it's going to take time. Right now we are at a very beginning stage in a lot of ways because we want to sort of develop it in a way where it starts going into every household, not just Indians or the subcontinent people or the cricket playing nations. We also want to get it into the American system. So what I feel is that in the next couple of years it's mostly going to be white ball cricket, and then eventually once we start going from there, yes, there will be test cricket also, but then you have to also look at other commercially viable things. We want people to be coming to stadiums watching it.
It depends on the broadcasters as well.
So many things.
Yeah.
The world has changed now. So world has changed. So we have to also function according to that. That route as well. So that's, I think, is going to be the next few years.
We started a rapid fire round. This is something new that we started. So the plan is to give Karan Johar a run for his money, but we'll see how it goes. So quick rapid fire.
Yeah, also,
10
if you
seconds.
ask me any sort of a very volley type of question,
No volley type of question.
I'm still in my school days, so I will still give you those crap answers.
It's okay, it's okay.
First question: do you have a nickname that everyone calls you?
Mostly people have started calling me UC
UC.
because it's easier. Unmukt is very difficult for some people, and it just sort of UC is initials. I mean, most of it goes initials only. Yeah.
Can we call you UC?
Call me, yeah. It keeps changing, every place is so different. It's mostly UC. My home name is different. But in Australia, it was a very new thing. I mean, what Aussies do is they put a I after your surname. It's like Josh, Joshi, Finchi, Finchi. Instead of going Chandy. It was a very different sort of a thing. So it keeps changing, but yeah, it's mostly been UC.
Nice.
Okay, UC, are you watching the IPL?
Yeah, I mean, I keep a check on the scores. Sometimes I'll just, if it's, I mean, if I can see it's a very interesting game going on because it's early morning here, I rather do my own things than watching. So then I'll watch. I watched the CSK game which Dhoni won.
Mumbai
Very
CSK.
interesting, yeah.
Okay, golden question. Which team do you support?
I don't support any team there. As a cricketer, you support your team, what you're playing, where you're playing right now.
Yeah.
So I mean that's how I've always been, and also as a cricketer, as a sportsman, you become so humble towards every team and every player who's doing well, who's not doing well, because you also yourself are at a stage sometimes where you do so well, and then you're not doing so well.
Yeah.
It's very easy for people to say, oh, he's a shit player, he's that, but it will never come out of my mouth personally. Any sport is concerned because I understand that sports is a very different thing. You might be at the top of your game today. You'll feel totally lost after 3 games of you don't do well. So you become very, very sort of good towards others. So that's why I don't support as well, or neither do I not like any team. So it's all good.
Just watch the game for it, it's fun.
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah.
That's so good.
What's your favorite shot? Like, what's the Unmukt Chand trademark shot?
I love square cuts.
Square cuts.
That's very natural to me, and I love it.
So never bowl outside the off stump.
Last rapid fire question. Who is the funniest guy in your under 19 team? It could be you as well.
No, I wasn't. Funniest, not as such, but yeah, Harmeet was nice. Harmeet and Sandy, they had some very good, they were good storytellers basically. So anyone who's a storyteller, they can just sort of, elevate the whole mood of the entire dressing room. So they had some great stories to tell, and the way they sort of, recite it is unbelievable.
Okay, I think now we can open up the questions. Anyone in the audience can.
Go ahead.
I have 2 questions. The first one, you said you used to be a national dance swimmer. What was your main stroke?
Butterfly.
Butterfly.
50 butterfly was my, my thing.
Oh wow, that's the hardest.
That's the hardest.
Yeah, I can imagine.
That was the hardest actually.
And my second question is more cricket related. So a few analysts I follow have very steadily, they have maintained that, especially at the highest levels of the game, captains don't really have a lot to do because the players are already like at the top of their game, and they are very professional themselves.
Yeah.
So do you agree with this analysis, and how does that change at the under 19 level?
Yeah, so what happens is, with time, when everyone knows their games, knows their roles, it's easier in a lot of ways. And I feel that, leadership, any leadership position in any field, especially at the top levels, it's more about man management and how you can get the best out of someone else. Because I know that the bowler I have, he knows what he has to do, right? You don't have to tell him too much. That's why the best players, or best captain like MS Dhoni, you will hardly see him, going to bowlers every other ball, because everyone knows it. It's more about how you give confidence to your players, how you sort of manage them in a right way. People who can do that, captains, coaches, support staff, the atmosphere is very good. You want to be in a very good atmosphere which will enhance your performance. If you are in a terrible atmosphere, your performance goes down. It's anywhere else, right? If you have people supporting you behind your back, you feel a little bit of confidence in relying on them, you'll deliver your best foot forward, right? So yeah, it actually makes a lot of sense. Under 19 level, obviously you have a lot more to do on that aspect, because everyone is not that matured, and you also are very excited about so many things. So that happens, and then so what usually happens is too many players come out. You'll see this quite a lot, especially in the junior cricket. The bowler is bowling, the captain is out telling him something, someone else is telling him something, someone else is telling him something. So that's a lot of bombardment. And then, you actually make a city out of it. So that's when you want to keep it normal, and that's what we also used to tell each other. The controlled aggression was also part of this, that one guy go and tell. If there is something, come to me. So there was a lot of things. Every time I had to tell them, okay, anything, come to me. And then if I think, we'll go to the bowler and speak to him. But don't just keep coming from everywhere and telling him, because he's not gonna, he'll get confused. You want clarity.
Yeah.
Brilliant question, guys. Who's next?
I kind of have like a two-part question.
Sure.
So I guess now living in the SF Bay Area in US, what does your day-to-day life look like playing professional cricket in the US? And then building on top of that, so what are some of these things that you do in your day-to-day, or whether it's not day-to-day, off the field, non-cricket things that you think have the biggest impact on how you do perform on the field and how you go as a cricketer?
So again, coming to the US was a big challenge for me, because US is not known for its cricket, right? And I come from India, where there's a lot of cricket and lot of. Any time I want to go for practice, in the morning, in the afternoon, I'll have wickets ready, I'll have bowlers ready. I can just go and play and practice. So I used to practice quite a lot in India, and that goes on with everyone else. When I came here, we didn't have a lot of facilities. We just have few facilities. That too, we have like AstroTurf, cemented. We don't have turf wickets, because you need a lot of infrastructure for that. We don't have people to be doing those things, so you have to do a lot of things yourself. So that's a challenge. And again, getting people together to come in and practice, it's again a lot of challenge. So there are two things. One thing is, you can complain about things. This is not there, this is not there, this is not there, which is not gonna do anything anyway. And second is, you can make the best out of what you have. So first thing, I realized that I should never compare it with what it was back home. People say what is the difference and all those things, but I understood that never compare with what you had before. Make the best of what we have right now. So making sure that sort of mindset gets in. Again, the second challenge was, people are not very, because coming to US, many cricketers who come here, what happens is, because there wasn't a structure before, and it's not about your bread and butter, right? In India, cricket is everything. You know that this is the only option, because you don't have other things to fall back upon. The players who were here, they had something going on, but cricket was just a sort of a second thing which they were doing. Now with the corporates, with professionals like myself and others coming in, it has become more professional. But then making sure what that does is, your performance goes down, because you also sort of take it easy. Because I know that people around me are not so charged up, so your intensity also goes down. So it's important for me to keep my intensity up all the time, and making sure that even though it's not in the group, but infusing it in there. This we could do it in the minor league. So initially when I played here, I saw that there was a lot of dearth of motivation wasn't there. People were just playing with the fun of it, but for me, cricket means a lot. Cricket means everything, right? So that mindset has to sort of go into other players as well, and that happened with minor league. It became more competitive, more professional, and myself and the other guys in the leadership group, we made sure that we're giving a message that, boss, if you want to just play for just like that, please go away. We'll do it with other players who want to do more for the team's cause as well, right? So getting that environment done is important. So I make sure that even if I practice, I'll get those boys along. We practice together. We do certain things where others are involving as well, and making sure that environment sort of becomes better for everyone, and they learn, and then they know that with the major league coming next year, the 24 World Cup, so many things are there out there, right? And the best way to go forward is it's important to have a vision. Right now I know that, okay fine, I have 1 or 2 years before the World Cup, Major League is going to happen next year. So I can put myself down, or rather work so hard in the next 2 years, knowing that there's a World Cup, right? So the work starts now. It doesn't start then. So I feel that whatever you do now, your results are going to come 2 years later, not now, right? So you got to work in that mindset. That mindset has to be there. So that's why, when it comes to training, I make sure that I train well. I don't sort of, become too lazy. The eating habits were very bad in US. It's mostly burgers and all these things, even in our dressing rooms and all. Thanks to my wife is a nutritionist, so we have a good environment at home in terms of the food we eat. We make sure that we are eating healthy food. Also putting it into the teams thing, right? Whenever we used to go for our team dinners, it was no pizzas, nothing. We're gonna have some proper food.
I have a lot of learning to do.
Yeah, so we made sure that we can sort of get that environment, so that and with time it comes on. Everyone sort of also gets it, okay fine, you have to be in this sort of a mindset to sort of be there. And now the competition is raising again. So they know that they have to up their game to be able to play, otherwise they will not be playing, because now more people are coming in. It's more becoming more competitive. Major League is coming next year, which is going to be big again. So you have to actually go up. So making sure that I'm on my A-level fitness all the time, not going down in that respect. And what you do yourself, you can set an example. So leadership, again, it's not about what I do when I have the team with me. It's about what you do the entire time. People follow what you actually do. So you have to lead by example. I can't go and tell people, okay, do this, and when I'm not doing it myself, right? So making sure that I'm doing it, people are seeing it, and then they also follow it, because they know that our captain is like this. In a way, it happened with Virat again. He's a prime example. The way he does his training, his eating habits and all, it all turned the whole entire scenario in the Indian team as well. Because once your leader does all those things, you also know that, okay fine, you also have to sort of follow up. So that is important. So I make sure that my usual day looks like, I get up in the morning, I do my, I spend some time for my, meditation and all those things, and then eventually I go, I train. I have my training routines, like sometimes I have a couple of days of gym, couple of days of ground training. We do that in the morning. Come back home, have food, everything. Evenings is mostly practice. So 2-3 days, I have to practice in the Bay Area. It's a long drive, so I make sure that 3 days I'm doing right now. Depending on if the tournament is closer, I start increasing my sessions again. So 2-3 days in a week, I'm going there and practicing as well. Weekends are usually matches, 1 or 2 days, either Saturday or Sunday, we play a game. So it keeps on decreasing depending on workloads as well. So what is coming on, what's next. So depending on that, the practice also keeps happening, changing.
I'm so sorry for following Indian Standard Time to its truest sense. But yeah, Bhavya, go ahead. We'll take last few questions.
I think let's do last two.
Yeah.
Sure. So my question is, like, you were talking about your diet and workout. So what's your diet like right now? What sort of diet do you want to maintain the physique and the performance?
See, it's not a very. I keep it very flexible as well, right? It's not that I am very, very strict in terms of my eating and all is concerned. Simran is a better person to sort of answer this question, but we eat healthy food, all homemade food. We make sure that we are making food at home, because this is the first thing which happens when you come to US. You sort of start ordering too much and all those things. So we make sure that, as it is, we are traveling so much, we have to eat outside because we are traveling. So we make sure that whenever we are at home, we are eating all our veggies, all our vegetables. So I get all the different vegetables. So I mean, it's like a proper Indian food. We don't eat a lot of American food as such. So mornings are mostly smoothies, eggs, and healthy breakfast. So lunch is again rice, dal, and veggies and all those things, and dinners again are pretty similar. So making sure that it's a balanced meal, and then obviously we engage in our indulgences. That's fine. But again, you should know that when you're doing that, how do you have to sort of what do you have to do the next few days to sort of get it back. So I indulge in everything. I love my chai, so I drink my tea or every other day. Yeah.
You can't leave the tea.
Oh yeah, I love my tea. So I'm not very strict with it, but yeah, because of my training and everything, it goes smoothly.
Do you still have that Delhi wala flavor? Like
Oh,
you're
yeah.
still eating chatpata food?
Oh, I love it. So anytime I get a opportunity, so definitely. I mean, you can't take food away from Delhi people, right? So that is there. I mean, I love to when it's also what feelings you put in your food. One is like you're eating like a sweet also. You're like, yeah, I should not eat it. You're giving very negative vibes to it. One is like, I enjoy it. You relish it nicely. It also gets absorbed nicely then. So it's more about that feeling. So I'm very flexible in eating. But again, I make sure that my training is regular. I don't miss on my training.
Let's take one last question. I know people are really angry at me for taking one last question, but yeah, go on.
I have a really short one. What is a book that you will make absolutely certain that your kids will read?
My book. Some of my friends, they talk about my book and everything. And they talk about books and all. I'm like, boss, you haven't read my book. You read my book first, and then go somewhere else. But I mean, there have been so many books which have been very, very, which I've really loved, enjoyed, reading and learning from. So it's not. I haven't made those. I haven't thought of that as such. But I mean, different stages of life, you have different things to, sort of learn, read. But I think autobiographies are the best in a lot of ways because they give you. Because I'm a sportsman again, you sort of relate to a lot of things, and you want things to be very relatable. One thing is some people just keep on bombarding you with knowledge, and it sort of becomes very. You don't feel very relatable to it. But if you can relate to something, that's when you start taking it more. So even when I used to go to colleges, schools for speeches and all, I feel that people sort of relate more when you're in the same age group as concerned to if you're a 50, 60-year-old who's telling you about your life experiences. It sort of gets in a different way, comes in a different way, but we belong to the same sort of a age group, same clan, right? It sort of it rubs onto other people more in a much better way, and then that really helps understanding. Okay, fine, we are all one in a lot of ways, and then if we can take these many things from each other, that's how we grow. But one book is very.
Any really
yeah.
memorable one?
My first autobiography was Andre Agassi's autobiography. It was the first one I read.
Fantastic book.
Open, yeah, that was good. And so yeah, I mean, he can read that. He or she can read that. But depends.
If you haven't read The Sky's the Limit, I really recommend it. It's an awesome book.
Read it as you guys are 90
Yeah, okay. I don't think we have time for any more audience questions. Thank you so much, Unmukt, for taking the time to come here.
Are you crying?
Huh?
Are you crying?
Wow.
I didn't get my audience question.
It's 1:15, dude. I'm so sorry.
No, you're good.
Thanks a lot to the audience for coming in today. I personally really enjoyed conversing with you, and I'm sure everyone connected with your thoughts as well. As mentioned earlier, a lot of us are cricket enthusiasts. We have a Cal Cricket Club, which plays professional tournaments, national tournaments. We also have a podcast, a cricket podcast, where we talk about Test cricket, IPL, etc. It's on YouTube. It's called the Silly Points Cricket Podcast. And yeah, first interview for Speaker Series India at Berkeley with a sports person. It was really good talking to you, and thanks again for coming here.
Thank you.